The thing that's holding you back isn't that you're not good enough. It is the story that you're telling yourself about who you are. I'm going to tell you how to spot it, because sometimes just seeing the limiting belief there is enough to give you that aha light bulb moment where you go, oh my goodness, I did not know that was true for me. What is a belief? A belief is a thought that you've repeated over and over again until you've made it into a fact. Now, just because you've thought it over and over again, it doesn't actually make it a fact. It just means that you've been carrying it around with you for a while now. So you might have thoughts like, I'm not clever enough, I'm lazy, I'm bad with money. And what happens here is those thoughts that have been repeated now become beliefs that you walk around the world with. Now, here's something that I need you to do for me. Get off your own back, all right? Because if you are somebody who has that belief that they're not good enough, or and that you are still waiting for that perfect moment, or if you are someone who has the belief that they want everyone to like you, please, please don't be on your own back here. It's not your fault, all right? It's just how you've been conditioned. It's just what you've learned. Because these beliefs are created from what we're exposed to. Think about it, right? Our beliefs come from our family. So when we're born into a family, and let's just say you're a family who have voted a particular way politically, you'll find that some people actually say, my family have always voted this way. And then what happens is the young kids, the young team go into school and all you hear is, my teacher says, my teacher says, my teacher says. What happens there? The beliefs come from school, they come from education, they come from the teacher. And anything the teacher says goes, because you believe that your school teacher knows absolutely everything. Your beliefs also come from religion, they come from the news, they come from history, they come from so many places. A really great kind of place to find your beliefs is when you're a teenager. I remember this myself from being a teenager, right? And I think I was 15, right? And I walked around the world with this calf length leather jacket, all right? Black leather. Had a black t-shirt, and on the black t-shirt it says, the wheel's still spinning, but the hamster's dead. And I'm sure my mum just looked at me like, oh, what is she doing? What is going on here? The eyeliner was thick, the face was moody, constantly walking around like I was hissing at the world. And all of my friends in our group, it was the time when personal CD players were around. So if you're kind of too young and you don't remember personal CD players, then, you know, I'm past the point of personal cassette players. Anyway, that aside, we're walking around the world with these personal CD players in our big long jackets. So my friends are walking around listening to the cool bands, you know, all these cool rock bands, and I'm walking around as well with them, looking like I was listening to the same kind of bands, looking like I was playing that same part. But on my CD player, as I was plugged in, it was S Club 7. Don't stop, never give up, hold your head high and reach the top. But the group that I belonged to, that I believe that I wanted to fit in with, listened to the music that I thought, I'm not quite into that. But if I didn't look like I was into that, what would happen? I don't know that they would ask me to leave the group. There might be some eye rolls and some sarky comments and things, who knows, but I really did want to feel like I belonged there, so I dressed the part. So my beliefs there were dress the part, look the part, make sure you go along with this. But this belief was just formed for me to fit in. That's how that was formed. It wasn't formed in a conscious way. You know, I didn't have a spreadsheet there telling me what to do in order to fit in. I just looked and I just sort of replicated what I saw the people in my group wearing. But that belief is the most important part of it, was formed that I must look the part in order to fit in so that I don't get rejected. Now, a really good way for me to, I guess, talk you through how to spot a limiting belief would be to talk you through a chain of thought for beliefs. Let's start at the belief, and then we'll go into the thought, and then we'll go into the feeling, we'll go into the action, and then lastly we'll go into the result. Okay, so let's just say you've got a thought that says, I'm not clever enough, all right? And that thought is the belief. Okay, here's the belief, I'm not clever enough. A promotion comes at your work and you think, oh, I would love that, that would be really good. But here's the belief says, I'm not clever enough. I'm not qualified for that job. I can't apply for it. I don't have the qualifications for it. The feeling is, I feel rubbish about myself. Actually, that makes me feel really quite sad. And what does that do? That results in an action. And the action is no action at all. Because you don't want to put yourself out there, because you don't want to get rejected, because you don't feel clever enough, and because, well, you just decide, maybe I'll procrastinate and wait and see, and you never apply. And what is the result that comes from the end, the very end of all of that? The result that comes is nothing changes, everything stays the same. Almost as if that belief sort of adds a layer of weight to it that says, see, I told you, you're not clever enough. All because all the way back to the start, we had the belief. The belief was, I'm not clever enough. And here's the really rubbish part about this. The brain goes, see, I told you, but it didn't even try. It didn't even try at all. That belief really stops so many people from progressing and doing whatever it is that they want to do, and still leaves you feeling like rubbish, still leaves you feeling like it's your fault. But the thing is, the belief hasn't been challenged. You've not challenged it. You've just sort of sat and let the same program run again for the same result, and for you to also be taking the blame. So you've taken the blame saying you're not clever enough, but then you're also taking the blame for not taking action. It's kind of like self-fulfilling prophecy here, that you just live out your days plodding along, not really going after what it is that you want to go after. All because that belief that's been programmed somewhere in there in the mind, maybe by a teacher, maybe by somebody that's told you that you're not clever, maybe by your own findings and deciding one day that you weren't clever, who knows. But the good thing about it is, beliefs can be challenged. Now, I work with women who appear from the outside to have it all together. They hold down good jobs, they're raising a family, they support everyone around them. But if we were to peel the layers back, what I often hear is, there's nobody to support me. I can't rest, because if I rest, then that means that nothing will happen. I am responsible for everybody else's happiness. Say what? If you are responsible for everybody else's happiness, how much pressure are you putting on yourself? 100% of the time, when somebody's sitting here in the coaching seat with me and we begin to unveil a limiting belief, guess what happens? It's almost like you're listening to Taylor Swift. It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. And then you get the realization it's a belief that you've been carrying around. It's not a fact. It's actually just something that you've been putting in place of a fact, believing it to be true, and making yourself bloody miserable. What a belief to walk around the world with. That's got so much weight on it, hasn't it? But these beliefs, they don't just affect sort of your own happiness. These beliefs affect your boundaries. They affect your values. They affect how you're actually teaching your younger kind of family members how to be treated in the world. They affect so much, including your own self-worthiness. And the good news is, you can change what you believe. And we'll go into that in another video. But I have got a downloadable worksheet for you to walk through your own sort of chain of thoughts when it comes to beliefs. So you'll be able to spot it, you'll be able to see the aha moment. Trust me, when you see it, you cannot unsee it. All right, it will just be glaringly obvious to you, because sometimes we don't actually know that it's a limiting belief that's riding shotgun in the car. We actually think that this is just a fact and this is just how we are. Oh, I'm just this way. Actually, it's not. It's a belief that you've got that's been running the show for however long, and you've just gone along with it. So if you download the chain of thought for beliefs, then you'll be able to really walk through that step by step, and I want to say almost catch it out, you know, you'll be able to go, ha, there you are. So when you're seeing that wee belief there, seeing that wee gremlin face to face looking at it, you can decide for yourself exactly what you want to do next. You can decide for yourself whether or not this belief gets to still ride shotgun. And if we're being honest, maybe the belief isn't actually riding shotgun. Maybe the belief is riding the car. And you can decide from this moment when you see that belief whether or not it's time for it to take the back seat. It's all right for it to be there, but it can't get to drive anymore. All right. Now, here's a note, just as we finish. Be gentle with yourself. You are a work in progress. You've got this.